If I were to create a portal and we were to jump through it, hypothetically speaking, let's say we were doing this on a particular Thursday afternoon, maybe 1 p.m. The milk is sitting in the fridge. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be going through my top 10 favorite The Amazing Spider-Man cover artwork for 2024, considering they released this comic bi-weekly, so we at the very least have 24 comics to choose from. And just for the heck of it, let's include The Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 1 as well. So that's a total of 25 comics. It should be very easy to choose 10 comics, right? Especially for one of my favorite comic book characters. Unfortunately, just solely based on my opinion, 2024 was pretty lackluster when it came to the artwork on the Amazing Spider-Man cover comics. That's particularly my opinion. A lot of people would say differently. With heavy consideration, I did narrow it down to 10 issues. Now join me, ladies and gentlemen, as we go through my top 10 favorite The Amazing Spider-Man comic book covers of 2024. At number 10, we have issue number 59. What stood out to me about this particular cover was Tombstone saying, "Let's get crazy." Leading up to this issue number 58, the cliffhanger was Tombstone was charging at Spider-Man, and he gave him a quote stating, "You want to get crazy? Let's get crazy." And ladies and gentlemen, as I read that, I instantly thought of that one quote that Michael Keaton said in 2023's The Flash, where he's like, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." So it leads me to believe that that's a quick reference to that quote. I don't know. What do you guys think? Also, the glass breaking in this cover looks like it's spider webs all over the place, and I think that looks pretty cool. At number 9, we have The Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 1. At first, I did debate including this in the list, but then I said, hey, what the heck? It is The Amazing Spider-Man after all. It just happens to be an annual, so it just gives me another one to choose from. That's a plus. Anyways, it ended up being number 9 on this list. The cover artist on this one is Salvador La Roca. What drew me into this one was more the silliness from how just not seriously the cover is taken. For starters, it looks very generic at first glance, but then you look closely at Spider-Man's hand and he's doing the motion to shoot his web. But the web isn't coming out of his wrist. It's just like appearing from his knuckle. And of course he's blasting the dude in the face. That's well and good for Spider-Man. But then at the same time, he's also kicking another dude in the bottom right corner in the face. Not only that, he's also dodging the dude in the middle's punch. Spider-Man is multitasking in the cover of this comic book. And then you got the other guys in the back thinking they're about to join in, but it seems that Spider-Man definitely has 3 dudes handled. Now get your head out of the gutter, fellas. Anyways, number 9, just very silly. At number 8, we have issue number 41, another John Romita Jr. cover art. What drew me this one to this particular spot on the list was something very simple. Folks, I have a particular weakness for the spider symbol, and seeing it used on this cover, I thought it was pretty cool. The spider symbol is a very corny thing that Spider-Man just has from the early comics, and it's just a way to surprise the villains, catch them off guard. At number 7, we have issue number 48. Surprise, surprise, another John Romita Jr. cover. Now this one's another homage cover. I've seen Spider-Man fighting Ben Reilly falling one too many times, but I feel like the specialness to this particular cover is the letterings that are just crooked to give you a sense of the falling momentum of these characters. You can see the crooked The Amazing Spider-Man cover title, as well as the people that worked on the comic. It's also crooked, their names. And if you bought the physical book, the barcode on the cover is also crooked, which as far as I know, this is probably the only cover that has that for the year. But I'd like to be proven wrong in the comments, but I feel like it's very unique for this particular issue. At number 6, we have issue number 52. This one's done by Ed McGuinness. He's a very good artist. I like when he does the interior drawings for the comic book. The ha-has in the background are an homage to The Amazing Spider-Man issue number 300. That is Legacy 300, where in that particular issue, the number 300 was labeled throughout the entire comic book, as you see the ha-has in this one here. This is the very first time we get to see the Spider-Goblin in its fullest form on the Amazing Spider-Man cover. That's one of the main reasons why I put him in this particular spot, number 6 on this list. The homage doesn't really blow me away. It's mainly on this spot on the list just because of the first appearance of the Spider-Goblin being on the cover. Now, whether you like the Spider-Goblin or you hate him, it's still a very significant historical moment that Spider-Man even turned into the Goblin to begin with, and having him be on the cover, I feel like that earns him a number 6 on this list for sure. But if you disagree, I want to know what you think. Number 5, we have issue number 58. And whoa, it's another John Romita Jr. cover. What can I say, ladies and gentlemen? I am a huge sucker for the Reign covers. Both John Romita Jr. and Sir have done some of the most amazing pieces of artwork when it comes to the Reign set pieces. Not only that, we also have the lightning in the background, which increases the intensity of the background. Overall, this is one of the John Romita Jr. pieces that I do very much like. Ed McGuinness, Ed McGuinness, Ed McGuinness. At number 4, we have number 50. Another Ed McGuinness piece. You're starting to see, ladies and gentlemen, most of these covers are either Ed McGuinness or John Romita Jr. So far, the only exception has been the Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 1 cover. So, what's up with issue 50? Why do I like this one? Well, it's a classic Ed McGuinness piece. Spider-Man's fighting the Green Goblin. Not to mention, he's also in a crazy pose. Like, how is his leg even doing that? Of course, he is Spider-Man, but nah, man. It's just doing the most crazy pose. Like, it's coming out of his back. This just gives an overall yin-yang vibe. I very much dig that, especially in a Ed McGuinness cover. At number 3, we have issue number 61. Ed McGuinness, no mystery. This particular issue marked a very huge milestone. I was going to leave my personal opinions on these stories aside and not let it influence my opinion on these covers and where they go on this list. Ladies and gentlemen, with Zeb Wells finally leading the Amazing Spider-Man comic title, one of the most infamously bad writers in my opinion, this particular issue marked the arrival of a brand new writer for the series. No longer are we subjugated to Zeb Wells' storytelling, and for that reason, ladies and gentlemen, I believe issue number 61 is number 3 on this list. Not to mention, it also has Dr. Doom on the cover. Like, it only makes you think of the mysteries behind what Spider-Man's gonna have to deal with involving Dr. Doom. With a brand new writer, it brings genuine interest in the story itself. Number 2 on this list, we have issue number 62. Another Ed McGuinness piece, ladies and gentlemen. Now this one's showcasing Spider-Man's brand new suit for the very first time on a cover. And I have mentioned in the past how one of the reasons why I'm particularly interested in the Amazing Spider-Man comics is the occasional moment where Spider-Man comes across a variant suit, whether it's the Mark 1 armor, the Venom suit, or even Bagman for that matter. It's always really cool to see Spider-Man with a brand new suit, and it's always fun to see how he acquires it and how it helps him out in the story. This particular suit was given to Spider-Man by the Sorcerer Supreme, Dr. Doom. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Doom is the current Sorcerer Supreme. Not to mention the subtitle on the very top of the cover. It only draws out your curiosity and imagination on the possibilities on what could be going down in this comic. For that, ladies and gentlemen, it is number 2 on this list. Bam bam. And last but not least, number 1 is issue number 63. So far, this entire list has been filled with mainly 2 artists, with the slight exception of one particular one. For anyone that doesn't particularly follow the story of the Amazing Spider-Man comics, but you're still enjoying this video because it's awesome, can you guess what artist was involved in this particular cover? Like I said, so far there's only been 2 main styles. Have y'all guessed it? Ding 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 ding, Ed McGuinness. Alright, surprise surprise. This is the very first time we get to see the full-on magic suit on Spider-Man on the cover of a comic. I really like what the suit looks like, especially with Ed McGuinness' style. It just looks very shiny. It reminds me of the Mark 1 armor. I really like the Mark 1 armor. A lot of people say they hate it, but I'm a huge fan of it. I mean, you can't even tell what material that is. Is it metal? Sure, it's shiny, but I'm not even sure if it would be metal. Then you got the badass red scarf. Oof. Cherry on top, ladies and gentlemen. Not to mention the devious fiends that Spider-Man deals with within the comic itself in the background. There were a lot of covers to choose from. 25 in fact. But as far as a number one goes, particularly for me, it was very easy to choose a number one. The entire year really wasn't full of anything that really drew me to the comic itself. Of course, I go out of my way to pick it up because it's the Amazing Spider-Man comic and I want to know what goes down. But as far as the cover that draws me in, there really hasn't been much, really. John Romita Jr. is a legacy artist by now, but his work really hasn't drawn me too much into the comic, especially as far as 2024 goes. But following a brand new writer, and with that we're also getting Ed McGuinness to do the cover art for these stories, it just makes whatever Spider-Man is going through just very exciting. So for those reasons, ladies and gentlemen, I believe issue number 63 has the best cover of 2024 for the Amazing Spider-Man comic series. Now let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments. And with all 25 covers for the Amazing Spider-Man to choose from, I would love to know what your favorite cover is for 2024. Choosing one favorite should be easier than choosing 10 like I did. Well, I'll leave you with that, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed this video at any point, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.